Well, it is January 1st of 2024, the new year. Happy New Year, everyone. And that means the results are in for the Woodruff Challenge number 2. So, I know Leonard Lee's been sweating in his bike cleats. And I've added up the totals, and over here, as you can see, which you probably can't see the screen, but I'll put it up, I have a spreadsheet of Leonard Lee's rides, and I have my rides as well as the totals between the two. Now, if you look over here, I'll move the mouse to where it is. I'll point out that for August, Leonard Lee rode 318 miles, 0.06, which is good, because in August, I hadn't been able to even sit up yet because of my broken leg. I had ridden 0 miles. Now, my second doctor appointment was September 19th, and he verified that my leg and hip bone was about 60% healed. So that qualified me to be able to start physical therapy and start walking again. So I started physical therapy to start walking that day. I went from the doctor's office over to the hospital and attempted to walk 50 feet for the first time since July 11th. So it didn't go well, but I was able to maintain at least 10 feet or so, and that was a starting point. So from August, I think I started riding the 25th or 26th. Only 8 days later, I went from walking, attempting to walk, to 8 days later, starting to ride. So I started riding in September. Now, the totals for Leonard Lee for September is 415.83 miles, which is really good for Leonard Lee. My totals are right here, which is 5.7. So moving on to October, which has started to get cold, Leonard Lee's totals are 277 and 100th. My totals for October are 457.22, which is good, which doesn't catch Leonard Lee yet. So November's totals for Leonard Lee are 195.35, which is really good for Leonard. My totals for November are 370.56. It's starting to get close, Leonard Lee. So December. Now, I talked to Leonard Lee in December, and he had injured his ankle and said it was really painful for him. And, you know, I understand how painful it is because of a broken leg. So I understood what Leonard Lee was doing. But the totals for Leonard Lee for December are 75 miles and 32 hundredths. So, what are my totals for December? My totals for December are 318 miles, 0.3 hundredths. So I know Leonard Lee is concerned about the totals and who is the winner here. That's the big story. So let's take a look. Totals for Leonard Lee are 1,281.57 miles. Is that enough to win the Woodruff Challenge number 2? So what are my totals? Okay, my totals are 1,150.98 for Leonard Lee surpassing me by 130.59 miles. That gets Leonard Lee off the challenge of doing a David Attenborough type video for feeding rubber ducks on a local pond. I would like to apologize to Leonard Lee because this was not really a challenge. This was a challenge to get Leonard Lee writing every day. Leonard Lee has twice before done 2 90-day challenges. But when I started writing in consecutive days, and I started writing consecutive days for the National Bike Challenge, something we had here in the USA, which I don't think the UK had the National Bike Challenge. But the National Bike Challenge was for May through September. That's May, June, July, August, and September, which was 5 months. And I did that 3 years in a row, although the 3 years in a row I didn't ride consecutive days. On the 4th year that I did this, I was chasing someone else that lived in my state, a guy named Bob DeCamp, because he was whooping my behind, and he is 20 years older than me. So I started making sure I did every day. And when it ended at the 5 months, I decided to continue on to the end of the year because there was a lot of people riding continuously after the National Bike Challenge. And something that hit me at the 6-month mark that I've never had before is something I would like to get everyone to do an attempt to get to that point, which is at the 6th month, I would cycle from my legs hurting to my lungs hurting, back to my legs hurting, back to my lungs hurting, and it would get progressively less and less hurt the more I went into that 6th month. But at the 6th month mark that I got to, my legs and my lungs quit hurting, and I could go out and ride for as long as I wanted to, as far as I want to, and it was easy. And that's what I want Leonard Lee and other people to get to that point, because it becomes amazing to ride a bicycle and you start craving it every day. I rode 1,905 days because of that. And a lot of people say, well, it doesn't do a lot for your health. It does fantastic results for my health. Leonard Lee has done a video on me of the first time I did 90 days and the amount of weight I'd lost. I lost 45 pounds in those, well, it was actually 4 months that I did it. I lost 45 pounds in the 4 months that I did those consecutive days. And I wanted to keep that weight off, and that's the reason why I joined challenges. Now, I can show, because in the hospital, I had to perform certain tests because I didn't want to stay a month and a half in the hospital. I ended up staying 14 days. 14 days. And at the 12th day, I was going stir crazy. I had to get out of that place. And the first thing that the doctor told me is I first had to sit up. And then once I sat up to be able to be discharged from the hospital, I had to make it from my hospital bed to the bathroom, which was about 25 to 30 feet away, and back before they discharged me. So the doctor brought me a walker and said, have at it. I got out of bed all on my own. Now, I'd been moving from about the 7th day from my bed to a chair in the hospital room to sit up for 2 to 3 hours, because that's what they were starting me on. Nothing more than sitting up, because my hip was broken, and sitting up puts a lot of weight on your hip that you don't really know until it really starts hurting. So to sit up was actually getting me to the point where I could stand up, but sitting up was still painful after the 2-hour mark. So the doctor said, walk to the bathroom. I sat up out of bed. I got off the bed all by myself. I put my arms on the walker, and with one foot and my arms, I hopped to the bathroom. I got to the door, opened the door, closed the door, turned around, came back to my bed, and got back in bed all myself. And the doctor said, that's really good. I will see about discharging you. The next day, the following day, that was the 13th day, the 14th day, the doctor came to my room and gave me this, which I have here, which is a Voludyne. And what a Voludyne is to be able to measure not how much you can blow or be a blowhard, but it measures how much you suck. So, not kidding. It measures how much you suck. So, there's a little video I have that I will put up here, or maybe even display it, of how this works and why this works. So let's see a part of it here.
Deep breathing exercises are used to help you improve the function of your lungs by expanding and exercising them. Sometimes having surgery, going under general anesthesia, or being on bed rest may affect your normal sigh or deep breath mechanism. These situations may cause the tiny air sacs in your lungs to become smaller and less efficient, which may interfere with your recovery. A volumetric exerciser, also known as an incentive spirometer, is a tool that can encourage you to take deep, effective breaths. Deep breathing can help to reinflate the air sacs and generate a healthy cough to clear your lungs. The Voludyne volumetric exerciser is the ideal choice for patients requiring post-operative deep breathing exercises. Every unit is individually calibrated and tested, allowing the Voludyne volumetric exerciser to deliver a reliable measurement of inhaled lung volumes. This is your Voludyne volumetric exerciser. The ergonomic mouthpiece and expandable tubing connects to the device. Attach the white corrugated tube to port on right side. The flow indicator helps you control the speed that you inhale during deep breathing exercises. The smiley face imagery provides a visual target for ideal inhalation. The inspired volume raises the piston as you breathe in through the mouthpiece. The inspired volume goal marker tab reminds you of the goal that has been set by your physician. Now it's time to use your volumetric exerciser. Sit up as straight as you can, either in your bed, on the side of a bed, or in a chair. Hold the Voludyne volumetric exerciser in an upright position in front of you at eye level with the smiley face flow indicator facing you. Exhale fully and then place the mouthpiece in your mouth and seal your lips around it. Inhale slowly and deeply through your mouth, raising the piston up toward the target goal marker tab. The flow indicator should hover over the smiley face in between the two up and down arrow indicators throughout your entire breath. If the indicator goes above or below the zone arrows, this indicates that you're breathing either too slow or too fast. Try to raise the piston as high as you can while keeping the flow indicator hovering around the smiley face icon. When you get the piston as high as you can, try to hold your breath at the end of the inhalation as recommended by your healthcare provider, allowing the volume piston to fall back down to 0. Now rest.
So doing that, the doctor came and handed me this, and there's a mark on here which I haven't changed yet, which specifies how much I needed to do, how much I needed to suck given my age. I am about a year from 60. I'm a year and some from 60. Given my age, given my height, given my size, this is what I needed to do to be able to be discharged from the hospital. Now, that's the maximum that most people in the hospital do. And he set it to the maximum level that most people do because he didn't really want me leaving the hospital. But I was bound and determined. And with having to ride or having ride every day, I should have great lung capacity. I didn't even know how much lung capacity I had. So I said, okay, doctor, I will make sure I surpass that. And this is the 14th day, and I've only seen this once. And this is exactly what I did. Now, watch where that is, and what this is going to come up to here. And I had to surpass that mark at my age, again, which is 60. So, let's try this out. The doctor couldn't believe it. He was stunned. He walked out of the room. 30 minutes later, I had discharge papers. Now, he said he's never seen anyone do the full volumetric area. That's because I ride every day, and that's what it does. I challenge people, you can buy one of these for really cheap. They're like $2 or $3, maybe $4. I think I looked it up on Amazon and it was like $4. You can get these really cheap and try to do what I can do. Now, that's not a fluke. Watch this. The doctor's never seen that happen before. Try it out for yourself. And yes, Leonard, let me know what I need to do for my challenge for not being able to ride as far as you did for the Woodruff Challenge number 2. And thank you, Leonard, and I really hope you get into riding every day. See you next time.